Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now, me personally, I've never overreacted. No. You? Maybe. We're gonna see today. Last week I made a video reacting to the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? And you guys really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed making the video. So for today's video, we're going to be reacting to another subreddit. This time it's going to be the subreddit, Am I Overreacting? And once again, we are going to be doing LGBT or trans installments. I was gonna say only, but I think we have a few that aren't. Mostly. We have a lot of stories. Some of them are a little bit long. So let's get right into it, shall we? Am I overreacting to my boyfriend's views on gay couples raising kids? Recently, my boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 21 female, were out and saw a little kid with what looked like two moms. Super sweet moment, and I was beaming the entire time. But after they walked off, my boyfriend said, "It's actually really bad for a boy not to have a dad." That threw me off. He doubled down saying, kids with two moms or two dads need two opposite gender role models. Oh, got it. Okay. I said, what about aunties, uncles, and grandparents? And he said, nope, that's not enough. Needs to be the parent. What? I asked. What does he expect gay couples to do? And then he hit me with the, I don't know. When I asked for an example what gay couples can't teach that same sex can, he said, you know, genitalia and masculinity and femininity stuff. This is so not true at all. Like, you don't need to have a penis to be able to teach your son how to clean himself or like whatever business he needs to know about his genitalia. That's just not necessary. Like, you don't need to do the hands-on instruction with your own, like, I'm sorry, we don't need to get into it, but that's just not necessary. He's just making things up. Let's look around, right? Like, there are plenty of people that have a mom and a dad that have masculine and feminine role models that do not come out to have a great understanding of what masculinity or femininity should be. I asked if he's against gay couples raising kids, and he said, no, he's fine with gay marriage, but he feels bad for the kids without both a male and female role model. They're doing just fine. I promise you, it's the kids whose dad is cheating on their mom that are actually having an issue, I promise. It's not the people with two happy dads and two happy moms. That's not the people who are suffering. That made me feel really uneasy. It sounds like he thinks those kids are missing something important by default. I'm bi, and I know queer families who are and plan to be amazing parents. It sucks to think he might quietly judge them. He's never said anything like this before, and he's always supported me and LGBTQ+ friends, so I'm confused. When I tried to keep the conversation going, he shut it down and said I wasn't listening. I told him I was offended, and he just said, that's how I feel. I'm sorry, let's agree to disagree. No. I will not agree to disagree. You are wrong. Haven't there been studies that have come out that have shown that this isn't true? That you don't need to have a mom and a dad to have a successful childhood or whatever metric they're trying to go by? I think the more important criteria is that you have two parents, right? Isn't that what the studies have shown? I don't know. I'm not looking to study up, but he's wrong. I know it. I think the most important criteria for parents shouldn't be whether or not they're straight. It should be whether or not they are good parents, right? Do they teach their child about empathy? Do they teach them how to not harass other people? Those are my metrics. Teach them to be a good person, and then I'll think you're a good parent. Please, the world needs more good people. Please, I'm begging you. Am I overreacting? This Airbnb host just used an anti-LGBT phrase as their Wi-Fi password. Hey everyone, I recently stayed at an Airbnb and had one of the most infuriating experiences of my life. When I arrived at the property, I noticed a framed sign with the Wi-Fi information. The password, LGBT suck 834. I can picture just like an old man, LGBT suck. At first, I thought I was reading it wrong, but nope, it was exactly what it looked like. A blatant anti-LGBT remark. Maybe it's LGBT sick, like they're LGBT and they're asking for help. LGBT suck, maybe their feet are cold. I reported this to Airbnb. After an investigation, they confirmed that the host deliberately used this password, which violates their non-discrimination policy. Oh, perfect, so kick them out. But here's the kicker. Airbnb's response was to quote unquote, educate the host and issue a warning. No suspension, no ban, just a slap on the wrist and a promise that if the host does something like this again, then they might take stronger action. Girl, you need to show back up at the house. Show back up, check that Wi-Fi password. Although maybe just peer through the window. Maybe I'm giving horrible advice. Don't give them your money, don't go back, but also we need some way to find out if they actually changed it. I followed up with them because I wanted to know exactly how they quote unquote educated the host and what steps they were taking to prevent something like this from happening again. Their answer? They told me that they informed him of what he did. That's it. No additional training, no actual safeguards, just told him what he already knew. As someone who has LGBTQ+ family members and friends, I'm livid. This wasn't a minor oversight or an innocent mistake. It was an intentional, hateful act. Airbnb's weak response makes me feel like they're prioritizing keeping hosts on their platform over actually standing up for their so-called inclusive values. Yeah, absolutely, that's what they're doing. Am I overreacting for being angry about their lack of action? Oh, yeah, what would I do? Well, you don't want to know what I would do. I want to know if they change that password. I want to have a strong conversation with the host. I'm just kidding. I'm afraid of confrontation. I don't want anything to do with them. I feel like nothing ever really comes from complaints to websites like this, right? Especially like this person is saying that make money off of the more hosts that they have available on the website. If they were to actually enforce their own policy, they'd be losing money. And that's a no-go for Airbnb. Also, like another reason to boycott Airbnb, not boycott, but like just don't use them. What's up with the cleaning fees? I feel like a bad comedian. How about that airplane food, huh? No, but for real, the cleaning fees, but then you also have to clean. I'm going to a Hilton. That's crazy though. I would actually be so mad if I were to show up on vacation. Like imagine you packed all your bags, you show up on vacation, it's like day one, you just traveled, you just got off your 12-hour flight, you just took an hour taxi cab to your Airbnb and you get there and they're like, LGBT suck. Actually, it's kind of funny. Like, it's funny if you picture the host sitting there like, what should my Wi-Fi password be? What's something that's close to my heart? Oh, LGBT people sucking. It's a sad life, truly. Not overreacting, it's unprofessional and deliberately offensive. Some people might gaslight you as if it's just an opinion, but whether they think it's worth getting angry over is not the point. It is a microaggression, it's wrong, period. If you're going to be putting your house out there as an Airbnb property, it is now a professional business, right? You need to act accordingly. And like saying that somebody sucks just for being who they are is obviously not professional, but it's low-key borderline harassment. Anyways, moving on. Am I overreacting? My manager thinks that customers shouldn't be forced to see anything LGBTQ inside the store. Hello all, I'm a transgender man and a supervisor in retail, specifically retail in a 21+ store. Behind the counter, we have several 8x5x11 whiteboards for our cashiers to write things like staff favorites or daily promotions with their personal picks for the day, their favorite products, things like that. Yesterday, one of my employees, a transgender woman, wrote "Transcending Deals" at the top of the whiteboard in pink and blue with that day's promotions and her favorite items, written with drawings all over the rest of the whiteboard. The title was smaller than the rest of the text on the board, and the word trans was the only thing written in pink and blue. About an hour later, I noticed her erasing that one section at the top of the whiteboard before putting it back in the front of her register. When I asked her why, she said, "Because I was told to." I asked my fellow managers if there was something wrong with it, to which I was told quietly a few reasons. Those reasons were, we don't want to invite any negative energy into the store. We don't want anyone who comes in to feel uncomfortable and not offend anyone. We don't want customers thinking that the company promotes that. You cannot promote transgenderism. Hi, welcome to Abercrombie, where we promote transgender for all. Now, we live in a fairly liberal state in the US. These reasons really bothered me. If their reasonings had been, we don't want customers potentially harassing or hurting said employee, I could have gotten behind that. But the reasons I was given sounded a bit transphobic. I then shot my store managers a quick DM explaining what happened, what was said, and how it made me uncomfortable. I explained that the reasoning came from transphobic rhetoric rather than from protecting the employee. My general manager then pulled me into the office with the offending manager to have a talk. The phrasing used was, "Let's talk about your rant," which, I can't lie, irritated me. I'd be irritated too. It's a very condescending, like, let's talk about your little rant, your little spiel. I'd be pissed. No, it wasn't a spiel. I'm actually mad. It wasn't a rant. Well, it was, but take it seriously. It wasn't a little rant. It was a big rant. Sorry, I don't even think they said little. Okay, so wait, I'm a little divided, okay? Because on the one hand, it does sound a little bit transphobic to be like, well, we don't want to, offend anybody with the inclusion of trans people. We don't want to offend anybody with the sight of the word trans. That sounds a little crazy. But it's also like, why do we need to put the word trans on the promotion board? I don't know. Maybe it's like a board. Like I have seen in some stores, they do like a promotion board and they like decorate it with like, they have like a holiday thing or like during Pride Month, maybe they do something like if this was during Pride Month, absolutely put it on the board. But like during a random day during the year, I feel like it doesn't really make sense to be on the board. And that's the only reason why I'm like, maybe we don't need it there. But again, I do agree with the original poster because like they're saying, the reasoning given was a little whack. The post says, the other manager apologized for her poor phrasing, which I forgave, but then my general manager began justifying the original reasons. She said things like, if we let the employee write trans or gay stuff on the whiteboard, not trans or gay stuff, horrible, sorry. We'd have to let other employee write whatever stupid stuff they want on the whiteboard. We'd have to allow them to write religious or conservative ideology on the whiteboard. And we need to keep politics out of the store. Now, see, I do agree. I agree with that. I do. I hate to say it. I kind of agree. I wouldn't want like a Trump thing on the whiteboard, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want like a, anti-trans thing put on the whiteboard, obviously. And if there was an anti-trans employee and they wrote like turf deals or some like I wouldn't like that. Obviously, they're different things. TERFs are haters. Trans people are just people living their lives. I understand there's nuance and difference to it, but I'm not sure it's necessary. And that's my point here. I then asked why it was acceptable for us to have pride flags decorating the sale floors last June, to which she responded, well, because that's Pride Month. And we're celebrating that. At this point, I stopped responding as it seemed the conversation was going nowhere, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, see, I think you might be overreacting. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm an ally. I'm so sorry. I really am. I just don't think it's necessary. Honestly, I think the managers were kind of weird about it. I think that their reasoning was whack, like I said. But I also think that we don't need to write trans on the promotion board. I think it's just not necessary. So yeah, I don't know. Moving on. Am I overreacting for throwing away the joke gift that my boyfriend got me for our anniversary? My boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 24 female, just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. Congratulations! Well, maybe not. Let's keep reading. I spent weeks making him a scrapbook of our favorite memories, plus a framed photo of us with a handwritten letter. He gave me a box of condoms and a keychain that says, property of his name. No card, no note, just that. Divorce, babes. Get him out. Why are you together? Oh my God. You know what? I have to say, I've been this person. I've had boyfriends that have just skipped Valentine's Day. Like, oh, we didn't talk about it. I didn't know I was supposed to do something for Valentine's Day. Like, what do you mean? Are we not dating? Get out. Ugh. So take it from me, somebody who has learned from these situations that these people never get any better. Just leave. Just break up. Like, find somebody who wants to celebrate your 2-year anniversary in the ways that you do. There's a lover boy out there for you, babe. I promise. He laughed and said, relax. It's a joke gift. We're going to dinner next week anyway. But I didn't laugh. I told him it felt thoughtless and degrading, especially for something as meaningful as an anniversary. He rolled his eyes and said, I take everything too seriously. Yeah, that's the other thing. It'd be one thing if it was just like a joke gift. Like you had like, maybe you had like an inside joke or something and he made a gift out of your inside joke and you like giggled at it. That's one thing. I think that's cute and nice. But the fact that it's a joke almost at your expense, or not almost, it was 100% a joke at your expense, makes it so much worse. But he clearly does not care for you in the way that you care for him. Or at least he isn't on that same wavelength of like, let me do something nice and like special and sentimental for my partner because that's like, I want to show that I care. He's not on that wavelength. He's not. I was about to say maybe if he had paired this with something else and like, got you a different gift to like make up for it and be like, haha, that was just a joke. Okay. I was gonna say maybe that would make it okay, but honestly, I don't think it would. Like the property of jokes, the like box of condoms of it all is just gross to me. I don't know. Maybe that's my own like, past traumas or whatever influencing my opinions, but it just seems really gross. So I threw away the keychain. He was pissed and he called me ungrateful. Am I overreacting for not finding it funny? No. It's not funny at all. It's not funny. This person said, not overreacting. No gift or forgetting would have been preferable to this. I spent too much of my youth educating bad boyfriends to be more emotionally intelligent, and I wish I didn't waste my energy that way. Find someone who matches you, not brings you down. You know how they clap, like people clap like this. I'm clapping with all my fingers, girl. Exactly what that person said. Find somebody who matches you. You know the answer to this. You're not overreacting. I feel like that's what most of these come down to. Like, people asking, am I overreacting? Babe, just trust yourself. That's my other thing. Personally, I'm of the opinion that overreacting is not a thing. I don't think that anybody could ever be overreacting. I think that human beings react to things the way that we react. I think that we react for a reason. We have things that have happened to us in our past that influence the way that we react in certain scenarios. And for that reason, it's never an overreaction. It's just the way that we are reacting, So for the fun and games of it all, I understand, am I overreacting and I'm gonna play along? Duh. But that's just my opinion. I think that we should respect everybody's level of reaction, right? Unless you like kill somebody or like slash somebody's tire for like making a bad joke. I don't know. Maybe slash their tire. I don't know what I'm saying. Am I overreacting when I tell people they don't get national parks unless they're gay? I'm an out gay hiker who has been to almost every national park on the West Coast and just got back from a long week at Shenandoah as my first East Coast park. Oh, I love Shenandoah. Shenandoah National Park. great park. I don't know if it's the flight or the distance to the capital or what, but I feel like being gay gives you a special connection to the national parks. You don't get national parks unless you're gay. I'll try to explain, okay? I'll stick with you. I'm not sure I understand where you're going with this one. I'll stick with it. Let's see. Gay people in America are basically treated as subhumans. We don't have rights. We're abused constantly, and we're about to be totally snuffed out by a fascist Nazi orange Cheeto man in his KKK Supreme Court. Every day as a gay man in America is like a war zone, except straight people are too privileged to see it. Little dramatic, but let's keep going. The parks are sort of the same way. They are protected land that just wants to exist, just like the LGBTQ plus community wants to just exist. And just like the LGBTQ plus community, the parks are under constant attack from every angle. Unappreciative straight hikers that definitely leave the park worse than they found them. Climate change caused by our straight white leadership and our fascist government itself. Both us and the parks are fighting every day, and despite heinous treatment from all angles, we still stand tall. Can you truly appreciate a national park if you are so privileged that you can't connect with the land on the level of such a struggle? What little twink wrote this, girl? Be so for real. I'm sorry, this is crazy. No, I think you are overreacting. Me going on a whole spiel. I don't think anybody can ever overreact. You're overreacting. No, that's crazy. I disagree. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's cute and all. I get it. But like, first of all, I mean, obviously there are other people besides gay people, besides LGBT people that have been oppressed or attacked by people in power. So to say that you have to be gay to understand that struggle is just not true. But I don't know. I think that more so they're just joking. So I think it's just a funny post. I think it's cute. If you're serious though, you're a little crazy, but that's okay too. Am I overreacting for walking out after my parents made a MAGA cake knowing that I'm bisexual? I, 26 male, am bisexual, and my family knows this. While they've never exactly been supportive of me being openly LGBTQ+, I've always tried to make peace. My mom still calls me confused, oh God, and my dad sends me articles about how gay marriage is ruining America from time to time. Casual, as people do, duh. But I just avoid conversations with them about it. I don't go to family gatherings expecting acceptance, but I do try to keep the peace. Fast forward to this weekend, it was my birthday, and my family invited me over for a dinner at my parents' house. I was honestly dreading it, but wanted to at least try to enjoy the day with them. Everything was fine-ish until they brought out the cake. The cake was a huge red, white, and blue sheet cake with giant frosting MAGA letters on top with the words, "Happy birthday, me, make America great again." They knew what the implications of that cake meant. Oh my God. Your family did that? The way I would fully take the cake and throw it at them, take it up. What a horrible waste of a good cake. I can't. My brother started laughing and said, "Don't worry, it's just a joke. We love you." But the cake felt like a slap in the face. My mom started saying, "It's just a cake. Don't make it a big deal." But I felt like they were rubbing salt in the wound. I mean, they know how hard it's been for me to get basic respect from them over my sexuality. And this cake felt like a gut punch. So yeah, I got up and just left. Didn't turn back. I honestly feel so hurt. I get it. They're MAGA. What can I expect? But I don't know how they could think this was acceptable, especially knowing the way they've treated me in the past. That's actually really sad. That's so sad. I talked about this a little bit when I was doing my podcast a while back, but one of the hardest things about the election for me, being a trans person, was seeing that so many people voted for this person, but also seeing the lack of empathy afterwards, right? The laughing at trans people, the laughing at LGBT people, the laughing at women and people of color. Like their high school football team had just won and they were like gloating to the opposition. It felt really cold, it felt really cruel, and it felt heartless. I can't imagine getting something like that from my parents, you know? And it's the same kind of thing as the story we talked about earlier with the boyfriend saying, "Oh, it's just a joke," trying to get away with something that clearly shows that they don't care about you. This is the same. This was a joke at this person's expense with little to no consideration for how it would really make them feel, little to no consideration for what they may be going through under this administration. Not to get super political about it, but this is not nice. This is really mean. That is a bad family member. We can disagree and like really disagree, but when it comes down to you just like mocking people and like laughing at something that is causing them serious pain, I think that you're just a bad person. So no, you're not overreacting. They're underreacting. They're being extremely inconsiderate. This person said, "You can expect a basic amount of respect from the people who supposedly love you the most in the world. Not the asshole, not overreacting. It's a joke crap is manipulation. I'd end up no contact for a while on that one personally. They ignored your boundaries and threw them in your face on your birthday. I'm bi, and even not being out, my family would never. My stepmom absolutely would do something like this and pass it off as a joke. I haven't talked to her in 15 years for a reason, and my life is so much more peaceful for it. Yeah, it's crazy. And then these same exact family members will be upset once you no longer talk to them, right? It's like you can constantly poke at us for like years and years and years, but like once we finally decide to spend time with our chosen family and the people that are always supporting us, it's like, oh, well, what happened? Like, why don't you talk to me anymore? It's like, oh, well, like, because you're a bitch. Am I overreacting? Like, am I still trans or am I confused? I have always felt different from other people. I suffered bullying in my childhood for being that way. I'm pansexual. I like everyone, regardless of their gender. I'm clear about all of that. But for a few years now, I have considered being a trans boy. I acted like one. I've had dysphoria since I entered puberty, and situations in which they told me that I was too masculine or that they confused my gender and called me a boy have always made me happy. The dilemma is that something prevents me from accepting it. I don't want to come out of the closet still talking as if I were trans about myself. Many people around me are noticing my doubts. I feel like I have to decide now if I am or not, but I'm afraid of making a mistake. If I'm afraid of being trans or being confused, does that mean I'm still trans or just confused? I mean, I want to be really careful to not give a like, you are trans or you're not trans answer to this person, because God forbid they see this and they're like, oh, I'm not really trans. Samantha like said I'm not trans. Like, I would never, and I don't even know if I'm going to say that, but I don't feel like that's my place to say that. I remember also thinking like, is this the right thing for me? Am I sure about this? Like, am I going to regret this someday? Of course, those thoughts are going to go through your head, right? And of course, also, it's scary to come out and be a trans person publicly. Of course, that's going to be an intimidating thing. I don't think having those fears at all make you not trans. I think that that makes you normal. I think that makes you like a healthy person, right? It means that you are paying attention to the outside world. But also, what I would say is if you are confused about your gender and if you are questioning whether or not you're trans, get a good gender therapist. You know what I mean? Like, there are professionals out there that help you dive into your gender and determine whether or not this will be the right path for you. There are therapists out there that will help you kind of pull apart your dysphoria and see where it's coming from and see, you know, like I said, if this is going to be right for you. Like even this first commenter down below says, go get therapy. Could help you with these issues instead of asking Reddit. Don't ask me, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that having these concerns or having these hesitations mean anything other than you understand that people aren't always nice to trans people and that it's a scary thing to go through. And that's a good thing. It's a big thing to go through and it's something that you should put a lot of thought behind, right? Okay, moving on. Am I overreacting? My friend told me I look trans. This is all stemming from a new friend recently I made. The friend told me that they originally thought I was a trans, male to female, which made me go down a long, depressing spiral. This upset me because of how they told me. I recently started accepting and embracing my femininity, so I was really put off guard when they mentioned that in a rather rude and hurtful manner. My bubble was popped. I felt my heart break. Oh my God. I'm sorry, the heartbreak over being trans is too much for me. I felt like I finally got to a point in which I felt comfortable being girly, but now I look at pictures of me and I can't help but constantly nitpick how masculine my features are. I do feel for you though, girl, because same, you know, as a trans person, I also look into the mirror, I look at pictures of myself and constantly pick apart how masculine certain features may or may not look. So congratulations, you're experiencing a bit of dysphoria, but all jokes aside, I understand how this can be upsetting, of course. Like being a trans girl implies that you're born male with male features, male characteristics, whatever you want to say. And if you're a girl, you don't want to have those characteristics, right? Obviously, trans girls are beautiful and wonderful and amazing and everything ever, but there is a certain connotation implied when somebody says you look trans, obviously. I do feel for you, girl. I do, but let's keep reading. I'm not necessarily the prettiest fish in the sea. Oh my God, as I don't ever get any compliments. Sad, yes. But it doesn't help that I recently got a new boyfriend and I'm now worried if I'm not feminine enough for him. I know that sounds dumb. Oh my God, it's not dumb to think about, but it's just the insecurities talking. I'm also debating on if I should bring this topic up to him as I do not know how he would react. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid if I start using makeup, I'll become insecure and start relying on it to make me feel better about myself. I'm not sure how to work certain styles in with my more androgynous features since most tutorials seem to be from people who already look feminine without makeup. Am I overreacting? Oh, I feel kind of bad. I was like poking fun at her, but now I feel kind of bad because it's sad. Like I said before, like obviously being trans, I also struggle with feeling feminine enough and stuff. So, I feel for you, girl. It's hard out here. My advice to this person would be, and it sounds like she's already kind of doing this. This may be a little bit triggering, but figure out which features you don't like about yourself. Like for me, I used to not like my ears because they kind of stick out, right? They stick out a little bit. But the trick to it is you look up people online with said feature and find people who you think are super, super beautiful or super aspirational. And you just keep looking at them. I don't know. The theory is if you can get into your brain that somebody can be beautiful with these features on them, then you can too, right? So my advice to this person would be to, if they have androgynous features, look up people with these androgynous features who you admire, who you aspire to be like, or who you find beautiful or attractive, and get it in your brain that you can be like that too. There is nothing about you that says that you cannot be attractive just because you have these features. And I would argue that there is not a single feature out there in the world, not a single trait that you could have that is not beautiful or attractive on somebody out there. You can find somebody that makes it look good. Keep looking. But yeah, I did that with my ears, and then I eventually found out that in Asian cultures, having ears that stick out like this is actually like the beauty standard. So I'm like, oh damn, beautiful. And it works out because I'm like part Asian. Love that. Okay, you guys, let's move on to the very last one for today's video. Am I overreacting for telling my husband that I don't want our children exposed to his conservative parents? I, 32 female, am married to my husband, 34 male. And we have a 2-year-old daughter. His parents are very politically conservative, and lately they've been sending books and videos to our daughter that make me deeply uncomfortable. Stuff like boys shouldn't cry and America is a Christian nation. Oh my God, throw him away. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I've tried to gently bring it up with my husband, but he says I'm projecting and that they're just being old fashioned. Does your husband know what the word projecting means? I don't think he does, because that doesn't make any sense. Last week, his mom FaceTimed us while holding up a children's book titled Why Daddy Works and Mommy Stays Home. What? I lost it and told my husband that I no longer want them involved in our parents and our daughter's early development unless they check this behavior. Absolutely, that's crazy. I mean, at least like go to the parent first and be like, is this an approved book? Is this an approved title to like present to your daughter? Like imagine this poster, this wife has like 3 jobs and their daughter's getting books like Why Mommy Stays Home. Nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom. I know it's very hard work. If you're working 3 jobs, like you should get some recognition. He got mad and said I'm demonizing his family and turning into this political war. I love him and want peace, but I'm not raising my daughter to think gender roles are destiny. Am I overreacting? No, you're not overreacting, but I will say you might have wanted to figure this out beforehand, babe. What are we doing? You have a 2-year-old daughter and you are just talking about whether or not you want gender roles to be taught to her? Oh, it's a little late. Just the way her husband is reacting to her shows me that they have not discussed this very much. Like, I'm fully on your side, babe. I wouldn't want that for my children either, but you gotta let somebody know. You gotta talk about it. Communication is key, honey. You know what's crazy though? Like, there are pages and pages and pages of banned books. None of these are on them. The boys shouldn't cry. That will kill people. Teaching men to repress their emotions and teaching men not to cry will end up with people dead. Yes, it will. We need to be teaching people emotional regulation, not emotional suppression, okay? So girl, no, not overreacting, I don't blame you, but divorce. I'm sorry. I know that's probably not what she wants to hear, but I don't know, you should have thought about this beforehand. Sorry. But okay, guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. Which one was your favorite? Did you play along down in the comments down below? If you didn't, start over and do it again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. I post new videos every single week here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, please make sure and do that right now. I would love that. Thank you so much. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.